say would be the best course of action for them to start?
I think the first thing is to come up with a character concept. I think a lot of people see like people who write out these really elaborate like roleplay profiles on their cards or some other website and assume that they need to have like a fully developed backstory or something, but you don't really need to get started. I think that a lot of like fleshing out of a character comes naturally while you're roleplaying. So I would just, if you want to be like, I don't know, I have a friend who hasn't roleplayed with us quite yet, but she just was like, okay, I'm making my cat a mailman so that I can just engage with people and use that as an excuse to engage with them. So you can do like, you just want to think about like what kind of character you would want to roleplay and if that concept could work to help you start making connections. After that, I would definitely recommend looking into the lore. I wouldn't say Final Fantasy has as many rules or restrictions as something like World of Warcraft, but it does have a few big no's that people need to be aware of, like black mages are illegal.
Yeah, technically, like...
You just want to be careful because it does affect who the kind of people you roleplay with. The other thing you would probably want to do if you're getting into roleplay is think about the kind of roleplay you want to do. Because there are so many different kinds. I think everybody knows that Balmung is known for the quicksand and ERP. But outside of that, there's like adventuring roleplay, there's slice of life sort of roleplay. I mean, there are literally people who every week would just run a pizza restaurant.
And I can say by experience, like even the quicksand is not full ERP. Like I did sit at the bar. I did sit at the bar and I had a lot of good RP conversation with people, so.
Yeah, I was AFK once in there and somebody tried to engage me and they just wanted to have a character's chat. I thought it was really nice.
Like, yeah, like I did make a couple of friends doing RP that way. Too bad I don't play anymore, I think, because she was free trial. I think I think they don't have time to play anymore. But it was like all the time was super fun to talk to them.
Yeah, one of my friends made most of his roleplay connections by just sitting in the quicksand.
And the other big part on Bagmog is the back alley as well.
Yes, if you really want to do criminal RP, that area is really good for finding it.
Especially during nighttime and during like a bit of off time during the server. It seems like all those RPR are on that weird time.
I know that one of my friends would go to Pearl Lane because he was a Dark Knight. And he would wait for there to be something.
But yeah, like... The weird thing about, like, I guess Balmog is there's not that much RP in Limsa, which is like the big RP central in the other server. The big part I saw is like the small restaurant before the Aft Castle, before like the... I don't recall the name of the place though.
The Bismarck?
It might be the Bismarck.
Yeah, it's the Bismarck.
It's the Bismarck? Okay, yeah. That's where I saw most of the RPR hang out on Limsa. At least not the AFK. Or it would be under the tree in Limsa.
Yeah.
Those are very oddly specific places to want to roleplay.
I know when I first started roleplaying on Final Fantasy, I roleplayed in the Drowning Wench.
Which is... man, my memory is bad of those.
That's the tavern right under the Aft Castle where you start if you pick the Limsa class.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. I see the picture, yeah. Like the big... Okay, yeah. That's the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not the Bismarck, but yeah, that was the one, which is like just on the way to get to the... Yeah, that's
When you
just to
said
get there.
restaurant, I thought you
Yeah.
were talking about the Culinarian Guild, which
Yeah.
is a restaurant.
Yeah, tavern roleplay is really popular, and there are actually a lot of taverns that people have made that are open every week, and they have menus and drinks.
Speaking of which, would you say like starting to go to venues that are advertised in like PF or in Shell Chat a good start for people that want to start RPing or?
For sure, because a lot of those people are looking for roleplay, and if they're at like a social event like a bar, that means that it's a lot easier to engage with people there. Because the setting kind of just, I mean, you go to a bar to meet people, you know?
Hmm. So yeah, like, and you know, like most people that are there already want to do RP, so
Yes.
it's either they want to do RP or they're curious about the place. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time that's pretty much it. And pretty much like I can say in Balmont, every day there's a venue open.
Yeah. I'm actually online. Let me look in Party Finder right now. There are like close to 30 things right now that are going on.
Yeah, like Party Finder is like such a blessing for those people because it make it so easy to advertise.
Oh yeah.
You just have to sift through like the rest of the regular stuff, I guess I could say.
Mm-hmm.
So that I guess that can bring me back to my second question about RP. I know a lot of people want to do RP but are stressed or are scared of starting to do RP because they feel they will be annoying to someone. How would be the best way for someone to get over that?
I know that roleplay is really intimidating, especially MMO style, because it's so fast-paced. I honestly think the best advice I can give is just take the plunge, or maybe see if a friend wants to do it with you, because it's kind of like streaming. If you're stuck in a rut and you bring a friend along to kind of help wake you up a little bit, it can help a lot. People might be more interested in engaging if they can see that you're posting and things. I know that we would have people just walk up to us sometimes because they would see that we were a group and just interact with us that way. I think MMO roleplay has changed a lot in the last 10 years, and I think what we would call walk-up roleplay is not as commonplace anymore. I also think that if you're nervous about bothering somebody with roleplay, if you put in your search info that you are looking for roleplay, people who are more outgoing will contact you.
Kind of like an introvert and extrovert situation, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except that in real life, you cannot put that in your info, so...
Yeah, people can't right-click you and see what you're okay with. That would be so useful, though.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I've had people walk up with the RP tag to me and like they're clearly examining me, and I always
Yeah.
feel bad because it's like I want to put something in my bio about or my description about like RP, because I want to get into it, but I still haven't come up with I still haven't solidified my character concept.
Well, if you ever need any help, I'm happy to help you come up with ideas.
I'd really appreciate that, actually. There's like something I brainstormed with a friend of mine, but I don't know how lore compliant it is or isn't.
Oh yeah.
Like from my own knowledge. So
Pretty much I just went with the flow with mine, so...
Yeah, and it depends, honestly, how lore compliant you want to be. I've actually seen, there are quite a few FCs that don't care about lore. So you can just kind of do whatever you want. It just depends on the kind of people you want to interact with. Like for me, I'm very, very strictly lore compliant because I just prefer to roleplay that way. But I do have friends who were in an openly lore-breaking FC, and they were having a lot of fun. So it's just the kind of stories you want to tell, and whether you want to use the rules of the world or not.
So pretty much, yeah, it's like choose your crowd and see what's the limit on that crowd, what they want, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's super simple then. And for the anxiety, I guess it's just, I guess one of the best ways to see that if someone has the RP tag next to the name, and they won't walk up or tell, usually that means they are open to roleplay at the moment. So
yeah, and you can always just be like, hey, are you interested in roleplay? People are not going to get annoyed at you for asking if they're cool with it, because I know people also worry about their post being missed, or just posting or starting the roleplay is enough to give people anxiety. I know in like a lot of roleplay communities, sometimes just talking to them and building some kind of rapport can make it a lot easier.
So yeah, like it's pretty much look if they are interested, and if yes, go from there. And a lot of time it's gonna do a chain reaction for that. Like they're gonna introduce you to a group, this group gonna introduce you to more people, and you can start from there.
My FC isn't really built on advertising people anymore, because we just had a really slow period a couple of months ago. But all the people that we've gotten in the last couple of years have just been friends of friends, so it's kind of grown organically like that. Normally I would be actively recruiting. We just have a storyline right now that would be awkward for someone to just jump into.
Yeah, I can see that if they don't have what happened previously and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the context.
So, like you're talking about the storyline right now. Do those things like develop naturally, or this is something you try to create?
It depends. We do a lot of campaigns to actually like supplement the roleplay, but I mean, it depends on the DMing style, but we try to do a more like improv thing where we have a general flow of how we want the story to go, but it completely depends on what the players want to do. So if the player does something we don't expect, we do change it for them.
So you got like a general idea, but you mold it depending on what they do.
Yeah, because we don't want to railroad.
So it's kind of like a D&D campaign.
Yep. We base a lot of the way that we handle things on D&D.
Which makes sense. I mean, D&D is like straight up role-playing, so...
Yeah, it's like everybody's gateway into roleplay.
It's so good.
I mean, because of that, I got into LARPing for a bit, so...
Oh, that's awesome.
I did stop because I'm too old and don't have time anymore. But it was a lot of fun when I did that when I was younger, I guess I can say.
LARPing is one of those things I've always thought looked interesting, but also thought would be super embarrassing for me to do.
Yeah, I have a lot of stage fright.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, it was just a reason to go in the wood, sleep in the wood, or like do like camping for a weekend.
Yeah, I have a friend who LARPs some kind of vampire thing, and she goes out every weekend.
I don't know if I could do that every weekend, though. Because, man, after that, I missed my bed. I remember that. And also, one of the things I did like fire keeping a lot of time. Like, I was literally keeping the bonfire up all the time. And I was smelling like smoke all until I took a shower. Like, I smelled like if I was committing arson all weekend.
You're telling us your alibi for why you definitely didn't commit a lot of arson.
I mean, there was 30-something people that can attest to that, so yes. And the worst thing, I think there was fire in that city during that weekend as well. So that
my god.
That was just awkward timing. Like, I remember I walked into a McDonald's after that because I'd been eating like camping food for all the weekend. I wanted just McDonald's. And people look at me weird because I was smelling like a bonfire. So And I had like my leather jacket that was like covered in soot and stuff, so
That's him, officer.
it was quite something.